romantic relationship, what's the best thing you have gotten out of it? Many of you may say something like love, loyalty, maybe even lust. Well, I would say the best thing that I got out of my relationship with my boyfriend is the friendship that I was able to create with his mother, my amazing Allison. Which I know may sound a little bit crazy, especially considering studies have shown that there is often tensions between a woman and the mother of their significant other. But I have never felt anything but support and love from my amazing Allison. I figured now would be as good a time as any to brag about this angel of a woman that I have a luxury to call my friend. The first time I met her, all I can remember was the huge smile that she had on her face as she pulled me into a bear hug. While I embraced her back, I remember smelling her, and the patchouli oil scent was radiating off of her as she launched into telling me how happy she was to finally meet me and how much she loved my red hair. Even though this was my first time meeting her, she did not hesitate to launch into planning possible photo shoots she could do with me. At first I thought, wow, this lady seems like she's a little bit too much to handle. But I quickly realized that the amazing Allison just wants to spread love and positivity, and that tends to overflow into her love for artwork. Through the 8 years that I have gotten to know this amazing woman, she has showed me time and time again how to love myself and find the beauty in everything, to think about others before myself, and to follow my dreams. My amazing Allison is incredibly kind and caring. You cannot be in a bad mood when you're around this woman. If she thinks that you may be even just a little bit upset, she will do everything in her power to make sure that you're smiling by the end of the conversation. And she'll do anything she can to at least make sure your mind is relaxed a little bit. Sometimes I think she's a robot with her ability to figure out if you're in a bad mood or not. Let me give you my best example. One night I was feeling kind of down in the dumps, and I wasn't really sure what was wrong. My nose began to tingle, and it kind of signified that I wanted to start crying. But within that time, my phone pinged. As I glanced at my phone, I noticed it was a text message from my amazing Allison. As I opened up the text message, I could see that the text was plastered with hearts and I love yous and I miss yous, and she told me that she was sending me a virtual hug. The cloud over my head began to lift as I told her that I really needed to hear that right now. And her response was simple, I was just thinking about you. There has never been a time in which she wasn't able to bring a smile to my face or bring that warm, fuzzy feeling into my chest as she reminds me how much she loves and appreciates me. Even when her own son broke up with me, she continued to reach out to me and make sure I was doing okay. My amazing Allison is also a person with great aesthetes. The Webster Dictionary defines this as a person with sensitivity to beauty, especially in art. And I can't think of a better word to describe this woman. Somehow she is able to look at virtually anything and come up with an idea of what she could do with it and how she can incorporate it into her photography. If you were to look into what she calls her art room, you may begin thinking that she's a huge tree-hugging hippie with the amount of trash that is lying around. You'll be able to see things like old cans, rugs, and even toothbrushes. But really, if you ask her what all of those things are for, much like Google, she'll be able to list at least 100 different things that she'll be able to do with that specific item. Like I mentioned before, even the first time I met her, she immediately began planning pictures she could take with me as her model. I swear it's like clockwork. Every single time she meets a new person, it just takes a few minutes for her to begin dreaming up photos that she could take with them. I think that this talent of making everything and everyone she meets feel beautiful rubs off on that person as well. Thanks to her, my self-esteem has skyrocketed, and as she's always excitedly telling me how much she wants to take my picture and how much she loves my red hair. My amazing Allison has also been very successful throughout her life. While some may define success as having a certain sum of money or maybe even holding down a certain job position, I prefer Webster's dictionary definition instead, which is simply having a favorable or desired outcome. And if you ask the amazing Allison if she feels successful, a huge grin will cross her face and she'll tell you, of course she feels successful as a wife, as a mother, and as an artist. Not only has she maintained a happy and healthy marriage with her husband of 28 years, but she was able to raise 2 incredibly tall and smart and handsome boys. But she wasn't just her son's mother. She was also their friend and their teacher for a majority of their life. She has also built her own photography and art studio from the ground up with nobody else's help but her own. She has created several murals for our town and her hometown as well that have depicted a whole bunch of children and different adults of different diversities playing together. She also has taken numerous senior photos of kids in our town and captured many people's important events like my graduation and both of my proms. Just recently, my amazing Allison was hired to be an art mentor at a Boys and Girls Club, and it was like the missing puzzle piece in her. This job she has now, working with kids in poverty and teaching them how to create beauty with things around them, has turned out to be her true calling, and I have never seen her happier after each day's work. I will always treasure the friendship that I have with the amazing Allison, and I really hope that everybody's able to find a person who is able to find the beauty in everything, encourage you to follow your dreams, and is the light at the end of your tunnel. If you don't have someone like my amazing Allison, you are missing out, and I suggest you find somebody who is at least kind of similar. Or even better, you may be lucky enough to meet my amazing Allison. That may be tricky though, considering there is a 1 in 285,000 chance of you meeting the amazing Allison, but if you're lucky, you'll be able to find somebody at least a little bit similar.